Hello everyone, so if you've seen my video on Death's the Philosopher, you know that I'm attempting to stitch together some of the not so good arrangements in some of the Death songs that I've mentioned in other videos. I wanted to look at Empty Words too. I really love a lot of the riffs in this song, so it's a shame that it's pieced together so poorly. But I just wanted to look at the intro, which I touched on a previous video. This one I really had a hard time with because it just feels so tacked on. It really feels like they just recorded the song as it stood without that clean part in the beginning and just wrote it in the studio and just put it at the beginning of the file, or how, I don't know how they recorded it, if it's digital or not, but it just feels like it really adds nothing to the song. It's a cool sounding intro, but it doesn't carry a melody, it doesn't carry a theme. So I wanted to give it the same kind of treatment I did for the Philosopher intro, so I'll show you what I did and then explain it afterwards. So I want to walk you through some of the changes I've made here. As it stands right now, I didn't look at a tab or anything. I just kind of picked it up by ear, and I'm sure it's not totally correct. But what I'm hearing is, so that's a cool melody line and everything. But what I wanted to do to tie it together to the next part was to introduce some of that structuring that you hear in that riff. The next riff is. So I wanted to take that theme and I kind of transposed it for whatever key this intro is in. So I wanted to echo that with, so the intro is definitely like a less discordant sounding part than the part next to it. The next part it's kind of trying to be a little bit abrasive. You know, it's not quite as pleasing to the ear as the intro, so I wanted to make that kind of theme a little bit more pleasing and kind of wedge it inside that riff. I kept the B section of that first riff for the first two of the repeats of the phrase, and then I changed it to, which kind of sounds a little cock rock, but I like cock rock shit, I will admit it. But I wanted to echo that you hear in the later part of the second riff. The second riff is. So by putting in that, I'm trying to give it like some thematic like cohesiveness here. So by changing it to. It sounds a little cheesy, you know, a little cock rocky, but at the same time, it's keeping that that theme that you're going to be hearing in the next riff. And as you know, with the original song, if you look at the structuring of it as A B for the intro, they decide to put in the first distorted riff you hear where B would land. So it's a sorry. So it feels really wedged in there, like it really doesn't lend itself to the phrase. So I wanted to bridge it with a little bit of more continuity by using that theme, and I transposed it here. So you hear the first four beats of what it would normally sound like, but then I bring it back to the actual verse riff. And I do that after B instead of it being after A, which feels really forced. So it's just a little bit more of a sense of tying it together, like I did with the Philosopher video, by having a little bit more of that melodic theme that you're going to be hearing later in the riff, just kind of put into the intro. It's a very simple change. I spent like a few minutes putting this together just to see if I can make the two parts align, and it seems like it's a lot stronger now. So, you know, I know everybody loves Chuck Schuldiner, everybody loves Death, but I think people really love the guy and they love the riffs, but they're not going to go ahead and look at what he's done and be like, that guy was a fucking ace songwriter, because these parts did not belong together, and based on the very little bit of work I did on it, now they kind of do. So that's kind of what I want to get across in these type of videos. Thank you for watching.